The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Or the author of the brand new book, there it is, Basic Economics, a 5th edition, Common Sense Guide to the Economy. Our good friend, Dr. Thomas Sowell. Sir, how are you?
Fine, thanks. Now,
what is your reaction to the president and this comfort level that he has with people that I would argue have very extreme radical views?
it seems so obvious. You mentioned some of those people. If you go back to the man's life, these are the kinds of people he has chosen to be allied with, to have mentoring him from the time he was a child, right on through graduate school, law school. I don't know why people are so surprised that these are the kind of people that he has now. Unfortunately, people listen to his rhetoric rather than looked at his record.
Yeah, and it appears, do you think Al Sharpton's a guy, have you been invited to the White House, Dr. Sowell?
Not by this president.
No. I would think you'd be a good person, especially with 50 million Americans in poverty and on food stamps. I think I'd talk to you first. Let me play for you the Congressional Black Caucus on the House floor yesterday. They keep saying, hands up, don't shoot. There's one problem. Eyewitnesses to the shooting of Michael Brown said, and I'll quote one of them, he was charging at Officer Wilson like a football player with his head down. So he didn't have his hands up, but this is what they're saying.
Hands up. Don't shoot.
Hands up. Don't shoot.
Hands up. Don't shoot. To all Americans who are disturbed by the demonstrations that are taking place across this nation, I want you to remember these 4 words. No justice, no peace.
The fact that our country, the greatest country in the world, remains mired in race relations issues in the year 2014 is an embarrassment. We really should consider taking a long look in the mirror before we go to other countries lecturing to them about the need for democracy and tolerance.
Dr. Sowell, it's a catchy slogan. There's one big problem with it. It's fiction. Michael Brown, according to the eyewitnesses, did not have his hands up. What's your reaction? Why are members of Congress repeating something that they know is not true?
Oh, for political reasons. I thought of Joseph Goebbels' doctrine, you know, that people will believe any lie if it's repeated often enough and loud enough. They're repeating it often enough and loud enough, and it will pay off for them personally, politically. People who are out to forward their political careers say and do things that have no relationship whatever to reality or to anybody else's interest but their own. I think what has happened in Ferguson, Missouri is going to adversely affect blacks yet unborn who will still be paying the price for it 10, 20 years from now.
Well,
because they're not going to have...
Go ahead, finish, sir. I'm sorry.
But, because you're not going to have businesses there that you had before. I've seen this happen in other cities. Detroit was one of the classic examples. Harlem, you run through the whole list of them. That a city doesn't get over this kind of stuff in a few years.
Yeah. What do you make? I was bringing this up with Juan Williams, the president, weighing in on high-profile race cases. He's a constitutional lawyer. Before any evidence is presented, he weighed in on the Cambridge police. He weighed in on the Trayvon Martin shooting with George Zimmerman, weighed in on this case, and he does so without any evidence, any knowledge. I don't know what to make of this, considering that it has an impact certainly on the community's mindset in each individual case, does it not?
It does, and I think it has the impact that he wants it to have. He wants to spread paranoia, if possible. If paranoia will get out the vote, because he is a politician. What amazes me is how long it has taken so many people to see through this man, and there are many to this moment who have not seen through him.
Yeah. Tell us one last thing. You got basic economics. You know something, Dr. Sowell, there are 50 million Americans on food stamps, 50 million Americans in poverty, and this is the greatest, richest country on earth, the lowest labor participation rate since 1978. Would this book help us out of this?
Well, I think an understanding of economics would, and I hope that this book offers some. It's sold more copies than anything else I've written. It's been translated into 7 languages, so apparently people do understand what I'm talking about.
Not enough, and in not the right positions of power, though. But all right, Dr. Sowell, good to see you, and congrats, 5th edition of this book. Thank you.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.